In honor of finally reviewing Ducktales 2017, I've decided to become rich.
Really is that easy.
Reboots are pretty universally despised nowadays, I realized. Give us new things. But also, God, do most reboots suck. We just never bring things back. No matter how much I love necromancy. Well, actually, there is some good reboots, especially in cartoons. I think the pinnacle of them all might be the Ducktales reboot. It's beautiful, it's funny, it respects the source material, evolves it greatly. It's a fantastic series. So why does no one talk about it? It's so weird. You bring the show up, people who likely know about it and have probably even seen it. I never see it brought up alongside stuff like Owl House, Amphibia, Reality Falls. Heck, even lesser popular shows like Drugs, Monty McGee, Wander Over Yonder, or Moon Girl all tend to be included in the same breath as those other three. Not this one. It feels weird to see this last show Disney really pushed that also stars Donald Duck and has tons of notable voices in it, but it's just ignored compared to the rest of its contemporaries. But I want to give it the love it deserves. So dive into Money Vote with me if you look over at Ducktales 2017. So before we talk about the characters, I gotta mention the voice cast. It's rare for a celebrity to appear in a cartoon, even as a guest appearance. And while Disney does get some for their shows, usually it's only one based on the movies, so they can get their original voice actor. For this show, not only did they decide to actually make merchandise and trailers for it, they also hired pretty much any notable TV show actor they can get their hands on. David Tennant, Danny Pudi, Ben Schwartz, Bobby Mahonian, Kimiko Glenn, Jim Rash, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Catherine Tate, character actress Margot Mountaindale, Mark Ewan Johnson, even motherfucking Gustavo Fring. Not to mention other voice actors and other names, and like, dude, this cast is great. Even better, no one is phoning in the silly duck show. Everyone's giving their all. It's what makes every single character here so great and so lovable. We've only got to actually spend proper time with them. Yeah, that's probably one big problem with the show. They have so many freaking characters, and all are super important and fun, but they all get very limited screen time. Besides Dewey and Webby, they probably get more episodes than Scrooge. But yeah, I get it, it's not possible or easy to get David Tennant for every episode. But it's sad that he's not really as focused as you might think. He gets far less focused than the other triplets. Launchpad's lucky to get more than a brief scene. Heck, Donald's voice actor even complained that he doesn't do much in the first season. And honestly, later seasons aren't much better. But hey, the heroes are fantastic, even if you only see them for a little bit at a time. Scrooge, though, really exemplifies why this show works so well. He's stuck up, he's selfish, he's very stubborn. He's probably even some other words to start with S. But most of all, he does care about his family. Alan Young's take on the character is iconic. But I think you had to recast him. Getting someone as legendary as David Tennant is definitely the right pick. He does a fantastic job. Trailers in this show took a big gamble. Entirety of their life, they're more or less the same character. Interchangeable. They look the same, minus color. They act the same, they're the same. This show did something revolutionary. Give them different personalities. This helped me with something I thought would have been impossible prior to the show. I can tell them apart. Huey's red, Dewey's blue, Louie's green. I can have a Pentagon. I feel like I know everything now. Granted, they're basically new characters compared to the old ones. But like, yeah, objectively, I prefer the different voices and hairstyles versus just being Donald's little clone army. There is one problem though. That is they very much do not get equal screen time. Huey is very much sidelined compared to the other two, which is sad, because I like him a lot. Him being the nicest of the three, also the most grounded, gives them a fun dynamic. Straight men are important, even if they're not always the most fun. I think his Junior Woodchuck stick doesn't go too overboard. But that's when he's talking to it, that's weird. Why does it look like a paper painting? But yeah, I like Huey, he's cool. We all agree he has autism, right? Dewey's was certainly the favorite of mine and the writers. Like, dude, I love him, but like, come on. Did you have to get everything important? He's the one who finds out about Della. He's the one who's closest to Webby. He's the one who's closest to Launchpad. Like, come on, give the others something. But he's funny and awesome, and I gotta say, thank you to whoever added this line.
I understood that reference.
The movie's a lot of fun. He's self-stated to be the evil twin of the trio. And it's always fun when more kids-friendly shows have more jerkish or sketchy heroes. I feel like it can be easy to flanderize into just being greedy and that's it. But you look at it, keeps a pretty clear moral code. He can lie to anyone, but he knows he can trust his family. And it's pretty true when that trust is broken. I like that. Webby at first was written off just being a Mabel copy, which, like, granted, tends to be like every main girl in a Disney show recently. Her relationship with Scrooge being the main reason anyone even wants to go on these adventures with Scrooge is pretty fun. I feel like I could have overcorrected and made her go from the generic standard girl to just another tomboy. I like that she stays pretty girly and quirky despite also being a little deranged. Donald gets done dirty, all things considered. He was a major selling point. In the original, Donald only makes the occasional cameo, so him being part of the main crew was a major thing. The fitting of the description we'll give him as a troubled child, he showed in the background and forgotten. Oh, that's why I relate to him so much. That because no one can understand us. I do really like what they do with him, granted. He's usually calmer here, still has trademark temper and bad luck. His genuine care for the triplets is really cute, as his relationship with Daisy. Oh, this is the best Daisy, by the way. Sorry to all 3 Daisy fans. And he's just really funny, especially in his handful of Focus episodes. I just wish he got more. Launchpad is probably my favorite character. I think. He's not as funny as Glomgold, as important to the story as anyone, really. Nor is he super deep. He's just a fun dude who I enjoy seeing, which is enough. I have obsession with Darkwing Duck as a show. I've noticed most major obsessive fans in media are usually just made for the easy joke of them being losers. But I like that we lean into it with him, and him liking this dumb show for babies isn't weird, and he isn't a loser for it. And people love him and don't throw tomatoes at him or throw him out of the Papa John's for wearing a SpongeBob shirt. For an example. Also, I know people have an issue with him being stupider than his original version, but like, he was always stupid. This just kind of exaggerated for comedy, which is fine in my book. It's not like Sonic Boom or Velma. We took a smart character and make him stupid because that's easy. It's taking a dumb character, making them even dumber, but having them contribute more than just a comic relief. I'm not usually a fan of the whole radical granny that knows karate joke, but I think Beakley is just the one time it works for me. Probably she's not really used as a joke, as much as it's just a natural way to have her be a competent bodyguard in addition to her being a maid. Plus her relationship with Webby is very nice. And it's just one episode, but I love her and Launchpad bonding over Darkwing. It was a really cute scene. Della Duck. This character has been corrupted for me. In universe, she's arguably one of the best moms in animation, despite not being with her kids much due to her being in space for so long. She's constantly working to try and get back to them. The second she gets home, she tries to make up for everything she missed. Plus she's just a massive dork and I love her. But my friend, Gun, she's watching right now, you know what you did. This goes beyond hearing out, dog. You need therapy. How are the villains? Well, there's 3 arc villains, 3 main recurring ones. Briefly hitting on the arc villains, Magica is the first real threat. I like how manipulative she is. It gives birth to some of the darker scenes in Season 1. Her shadow was a character in the original show, so finding her with it was a fun idea. Plus I like that, despite being far more evil here, taking a lot more seriously, actually is still as hammy over-the-top villain the original series had. Keeping her around as a powered, overall pathetic presence is a really fun idea. So I wish the powered Magica interacted with Screwed at all, but her stuff with Lima is still great. She did get powered back later on, but really doesn't do anything with it. I assume just because they pulled the plug in the show earlier than expected. Lunaris is definitely the one that gets the least focus. She's only arc villain contained to 1 season, and only appears halfway through said season. But he's a properly intimidating villain with a few fun lines. Granted, I saw him being a Twitch villain miles away. I'm not going to act like I'm awesome and cool because an alien commander in a kid's show is in fact the bad guy. Favorite introduced just one of Scrooge's board of directors, the only one who talks. Even though a different Vulture talked in the first episode, never talks again, that's weird. But fully took over the role of the main villain when he's revealed that it had a foul. William Fowl was in the show, by the way, is one of the best moments for me. Darkwing Duck, they were completely in the background, and we knew basically nothing about them. Not even who ran them. So having them dive deeper was really cool. I think the idea of someone who's obviously evil, yet is convinced that evil doesn't exist, and he's simply doing things to make the world safer, is a really fun concept. But they do kind of ruin that by making him team up with Black Heron, the most stereotypically evil character of all time. Also, like Magica, I feel like it's clear they had more planned for him. Still, a really fun main villain that's a fun parallel to Scrooge. But recurring villains, I don't got much to say about the Beagle Boys. I mean, they're fun, but they really are just kind of the most vaguest villains of all time. Mark Beeks, honestly, I like this guy. I know people think he's annoying, but like, that's kind of the point. He's really overconfident yet pathetic dude you just desperately want to punch in the face. If you're going to make a show about rich dudes, it makes sense to have one character that's a parody to modern day rich dudes, aka tech geniuses. They should have gone through with naming him Mark Zuckerberg though. Like, come on, I don't care if he gets sued, that's perfect. Oh, and I think it's a cute detail that his hoverboard looks like a parrot perch. That's cute. You're a cute show, I like you. And then there's Glomgold. Would I be wrong in saying this is the objective funniest character in fiction? Like, dude, every single line he has slays me. Keith Thurston is a natural treasure, dude. How does he do it? I like how Glomgold ping-pongs between being unable to tie his non-existent shoes to actually fairly deadly. Always hilarious. I cannot get enough of this dude. All he does is win. And we are now 4 pages in the script. I will now just speedrun the rest of the characters. Ted is a fun character, and we have to capitalize on him sooner rather than holding him off to the end like he was in the original series. Duck brings up a lot of fun scenarios with him, and his relationship with Gondor is really cute. Jerry was underused, but Jim Rash is a natural treasure, so he makes the most out of it. I like that it's all but confirmed that he would definitely murder the entire world. He doesn't, because why would he do that? Lena has a cool twist, but interactions with Webby are fun. Someone pointed me out that she has the exact same arc as Vivian from Paper Mario 2, and I cannot unsee it now. But as a fun straight man to Webby and Lena, even her late introduction kind of holds her back from being super memorable. Also, shout out to her gay dads, who say nothing and appear for like 10 seconds. In other words, they're probably the most significant male same-sex couple in Western animation. Darkwing is pretty underdeveloped, and I curse Disney every day for not giving us the Darkwing spinoff. But I think making him a nicer guy who's a fan of Darkwing as a kid is a neat idea. I just wish he did more. Duckworth being a ghost is cool, but dog, you grade him out of the entire show and nothing would change. He is completely meaningless. Goldie's relationship with Scrooge is really fun. I think dating Catwoman type relationships are super interesting, and I really like what they did with her here. It's especially nice that it is implied they do fully get back together. Her number is fun, especially how she just freaking hates Stella for no reason. We desperately need her to be a recurring character after season 2. Have her join the main cast. It feels like she just kind of disappeared after being set up. I think it's funny that writers hated Doofus so much in the original that he's just evil now. Boyd is cute, and his first appearance is voiced by Gumball. Ellen Graves should be a become a sexy man. Keith David. I'm probably missing like 12 billion characters, but frick you, let's actually review the show now. Okay, I'm dropping a hot take right off the gate. I think Ducktales might be the best looking cartoon in the last decade or so. I'm sure you can find ones that are better or comparable, but I genuinely think this show's visuals are a work of art. Disney very clearly cared a lot about this show. I'll get to that later. So it's clear they pumped a lot of money into it. Not only shown by the show's voice cast, but also its visuals. They tend to have a higher frame count than your average show, and like, you can just see it, right? The comic book inspired look really popped up super well. Despite being mostly grounded, and the characters are moving very simply, they really pick up the pace when they need to do action. Character designs are, of course, fantastic. These are the definitive look for all these characters. Yes, even Donald, and I'd even argue Goofy. It can occasionally be a bit stiff, but it's usually during talking scenes. Overall, every character moves like you'd expect a duck person to move. Well, how do you expect them to move minus the horror? When it comes to the story, this does something novel. Pacing out episodes. Yeah, remember when shows could have just a breather episode where everyone plays a game inside, or meets a random one-off ally, or just goes on an adventure just because they want to? I wish when shows would just do that instead of only having plot episodes. Because they're going to shove an entire film trilogy worth of story into one season, they know they'll get canceled before they can get the chance. I get why most shows don't have this luxury. It's so good to see what happens when a show can just dive deeper into their characters on an off day, rather than just hitting the major beats. And like, yeah, of course the actual story is good. All about found family and stuff. Unlike other shows where there's no real final goal. Find the author, get back home, be gay. Heck, the main villain of each season only really comes clear to the characters in like the final episode. Unless the audience know who the villain is early on, but the characters don't know until the final episode for Magical Lunaris, and only halfway through for Bradford. Honestly, not a bad thing. With Scrooge being this crazy prepared guy who has endless magical artifacts and infinite wealth, fun to suddenly see the rug pulled from under him when a villain he wasn't expecting comes in and exploits one of his weak spots. That's why these filler episodes are important. Show us that Scrooge and his family get through any situation. The reveal of the bad guy is so bad, they can easily nullify anything the heroes do. And they really need to pull together to win. Oh, and it's funny. I don't like explaining my shows are funny. Like, guys, have you seen Gumball? I can tell Disney is hesitant to put Mickey characters in more dramatic situations, unless there's anime boys with them. But I think the show shows you that you can have a good dramatic scene, even sad ones, with Donald Fauntleroy Duck, and it still works. But rather than deep diving into that here, I think we should go into some more specific examples of why this show is so great. Ducktales is special because there's really no bad episodes in it. Like, I've seen countless lists and videos on the series, and the most people can say for the weakest ones, they're just like 6 out of 10. It would be so easy to jump the shark or character assassinate here. But no, they're consistently great. This means picking my top 10 episodes was not an easy thing. I had to cut a lot of bangers. Let's dive into the 10 best. Number 10, Ducktales. Okay, kind of a mean way to start, but I can't help it. This episode is so freaking funny. Gumball fumbling over a plan, and at every turn somehow not just barely throwing himself over, never gets old. And I'm stuck with villain team-up episodes. So seeing multiple characters who never interacted team-up is a great sight. Throw in a fun yet one-sided fight scene, the best villain song Disney has ever made, no irony, and the great moment for Louie. You got one scheme that can upstate even Gumball himself. Number 9, Astro Boy. Whole episode parodies can be a little hit and miss, but this one definitely hits. It's known that this show definitely loads anime references, and since it's not Steven Universe, the only show we're allowed to bash for referencing anime, we love it too. Higher send-off to Astro Boy, which is not just funny, but it's really heartwarming, with the relationship between Boyd and Gyro. I almost see Huey sticking up for Boyd, but we shouldn't judge him, just because he's a little different. That's an autism thing, right? It's definitely an autism thing. Number 8, Mick Mystery and Mick Duck Manor. Okay, kind of a memey one here. I don't care though. The constant curveball they throw here are always hilarious. I really like Dark Arc Beagle. Really the only standout Beagle Boy. Twist's Gumball not being twist at all is hilarious, and the only time Duckworth actually mattered. Number 7, A Nightmare in Kumilder Hill. A wonderful take on the let's explore everyone's dream concept. All about Lena Duvetti eventually becoming Magica. Everyone's dreams are really imaginative. Besides Huey, God, that dude keeps getting shafted. I love how it really shows a family message that the entire show tends to push. With everyone coming together to help save Lena from her beast fans. The reveal of Magica at the end being a pathetic, powerless hermit with nice breast relief and comedy from what was actually a tense episode. Lena's struggles really get you to care for her. And genuinely, the team was Magical climbing up a wall, taking over the mascot, genuinely got me to jump upon a rewatch. Take notes, Poppy's playtime. I'll shout out to this scene.
I think it's supposed to be my romantic interest, but I'm too threatened by that concept, so it never takes shape.
Number 6, Let's Get Dangerous. Again, it's autism talking. As a Darkwing Duck fan, this show basically stopped just to give that show all love it deserves is fantastic. Charles Bobo is reinterpreted greatly. Now as a charismatic scientist who's hiding a dark plan to rewrite reality, rather than a gangster. Gosselin gets introduced, and she's basically the same as the original, but snarkier. Which, like, original Gosselin is perfect, so it's fine with me. I love the new takes on Fearsome 4. Even if I wished Megavolt got more attention. Just really like Megavolt. Could have led up to the original series. Well, it would have been easy to just have it be a nothing but a shout-out episode. I appreciate they could keep the plot relevant. Having this be the episode the cast finds out about Bradford running foul, and that he's been plotting against them for decades. Number 5, The Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, no duh, of course the episode follows right after. As I said, the reboots are a gamble. As the episode proves that not only do writers know that, they understand it. They get being a fan of things and taking it their own way, solely out of love. Not only is it a scathing take on the cynicalness of some reboots, including a wonderful cameo from Edgar freaking Wright of all people, but it's a wonderful take on Darkwing, showing a bitter old actor, voiced by original Darkwing actor Jim Cummings, trying and failing to recapture the magic he himself wants, while a new Darkwing that loves and respects the original has to grasp what he's doing with a new character. All Launchpad is nerding out. The twist with old Darkwing becoming the main villain of the original Darkwing Duck show is really fun. If I wish the main villain of the original Darkwing Duck show returned again, the main villain of the original Darkwing Duck show was supposed to return, granted, but they couldn't fit the main villain of the original Darkwing Duck show into the episode naturally. So the main villain of the original Darkwing Duck show only appeared here. Finally, this episode starts with the original Darkwing stating that the plot of the original show was cancelled before the animator plot points, meaning that setting up the main villain of the original Darkwing Duck show before he's doing anything with the main villain of the original Darkwing Duck show proper is a shockingly accurate parallel. Number 4, The 87-Cent Solution. This episode starts off fine, but as it goes on, things get wackier. Throwaway bits get brought back. Scrooge gets more and more insane with his apparent disease after losing a handful of coins. And of course, Glomgold gets more and more scenes of him being himself. Up until, I'm just gonna say it, the single funniest scene in Western animated history. Also, I first watched this during lockdown. Seeing everyone slowly start putting on face masks? That was a feeling. Number 3, whatever happened to Della Duck? It is paramount that you sell Della as a character. She's more or less what the show is building up for the majority of its run. So now that we're finally seeing her, you must make us love her. And they very much do that. A majority of the episode is just Della talking to herself. And they show her perfectly. Her resourcefulness, her free love for her family, her wit, her dorkiness, all taking the iconic moon theme from the game, making it a lullaby she made up. A wonderfully clever way to reinterpret an iconic part of the Ducktales history. And on top of it all, fully setting up the Moonlanders and their people. A phenomenal episode. Number 2, Last Crash of the Sun Chaser. The main reason whatever happened to Della Duck needed to be good? To sell this episode. For what's, in essence, a bottle episode of the main cast stuck in a plane that they need to keep balanced lest it fall. Instead becomes one of the most intense episodes of the series, as Doobie is super close to putting together the mystery of what happens to his mom. Risking his life and everyone else's just to finally know. Leaving Scrooge finally telling the story to them and explaining everything. And no one forgives him. Boys hate him for building a rocket ship and letting their mother go off in it before it was ready. Webby is realizing that the greatest Avenger of all time isn't a flawless man, and even Biggley's quitting, thinking she saw the true side of Scrooge he wants no one else to see. Bigley, his most trustworthy acquaintance, asks him if he's proud of himself. And then we get the bombshell. Scrooge didn't just sit around. Everything he could to get Della back. He sent dozens of ships into space to find her. He jeopardized his entire empire. His money tower used to be full, but he spent countless amounts of money just trying to find her. His board of directors really needed to drag him away to prevent him from doing any more harm, because that was the only way anyone could stop his quest to get Della back. Because everyone, Scrooge included, knows it's hopeless. All this is shown in stills, done in a different style, monochrome, a fade memory that will never fully fade. All for him to finally admit to himself, he is happy. And they do it in a freaking reference to the comics too, because these guys are wizards! Nuclear take. In terms of being an emotional gut punch that leaves you just completely emotionally drained from otherwise a nice happy show, arguably this does better than True Colors. That's an infinitely better episode on the whole. But there's no hope here. There's no finally leaving Amphibia or seeing Marcy live in the credits. All of Scrooge's family hate him. He'll never find Della. But he's still Scrooge. He is. And finally, number 1, Moonvasion. I made a list of my top 30 Disney episodes a while back, and that video still holds up super well. It's one of my favorites, you should watch it. And in that, I found this as my favorite episode of the series. And it still very much rings true. This two-parter is full of everything. It's funny, it's heartfelt, it's dramatic. There's so many cute winks and nods to the original series and this one. It sets up Mother Frickin' Fowl as the big bads, makes Daenerys genuinely intimidating. Bravo technically saves the day, and that's hilarious. It's basically a perfect episode. Now, making this top 10 was not an easy feat. I could easily swap out various episodes, even some of the higher ranked ones, for other ones, and I would still be satisfied. Whatever happened to Donald Duck, Nothing Can Stop Della Duck, both Christmas specials, The First Adventure, Double O Duck and You Only Crash Twice, The Golden Spear, all phenomenal episodes. I'd fully understand if they were someone's favorite. And you might have noticed a glaring omission from us all. Where's the finale? Now, don't get me wrong, I love the finale a lot. Again, there's no bad episodes of the series. But it does just kind of get edged off my favorite list. Mostly because it's stiff competition. That said, there's a lot to discuss about the finale. So much so, I think it deserves its own segment. The finale, Last Adventure, is easily the most divisive thing in the series. I think people say it's their favorite episode. A perfect way to wrap up a great show. Giving love to every character, answering every question, thematically connecting to the various parts of the show, overall being fantastic. As in others claim, it's the worst episode of the show. Bringing plots that were never set up, going against the message of the whole show, and just general being clunky. My thoughts? I really enjoyed it. I think the detractors aren't entirely wrong. Basically, the heroes, all of them, decide to finally put a stop to Fowl. Whereas Bradford puts his final plan into action. This gives us a lot of great moments, but also a lot of really sudden moments. Like, I think the whole backstory Bradford has of being a part of the Junior Woodchucks is fun, explaining why he hates adventure and wants to be destroyed. But it is super sudden. Also, Phil being, weirdly, jealous of Daisy being close to Donald? Where'd that come from? I've said it before, but Phil is written as a final episode of the 4th season, not a 3rd. It does feel like things are set up that weren't handed at, but I still really love this episode. It's funny, it's full of fun references, like all the characters in the jail Bradford has. But funny enough, seemingly does not include Mark Beeks. He really matters that little. Plus, of course, finding a way to naturally include gargoyles. And every major character gets a moment. This really cements how evil Bradford is. All while keeping him as kind of a loser, which I enjoy. How about that big twist, huh? Webby is a gender-swapped Scrooge clone, and is actually part of the April, May, June triplets. A lot of people credit Fowl, pun intended, at this, because the show is about found family, and making Webby a member of the McDuck family ruins that. And, guys, the show really isn't about found family. You're thinking of every other Disney cartoon. The show's mostly about family bonds. Could be found or blood, but that's about it. The main cast is like 90% members of the McDuck clan. There's several episodes about Scrooge's family. The entire arc of season 2 is literally about Della and her connections to the family. It's honestly more thematic than if she wasn't related to them. The only real major found family aspects of the show is Lena, and that's great. The main cast besides Launchpad and Beakley are all related. So I think it's fine. Overall, a great finale. But definitely does come out of nowhere. Maybe I'm just more used to shows naturally leading to the ending though. Because this doesn't really feel like a natural setup to the episodes we had before. It's not like Owl House, Amphibia, and even Gravity Falls having episodes that lead to the finale. But again, it's not the show's fault. This is an adventure I'm glad to go back to regardless.
I feel like kicking a puppy making the world worse for everyone.
So, Ducktales. Pretty peak. It's one of the most visually stunning shows in recent memory. It's super funny, balances story and fluff very well, the world is super well developed, long world, basically a near perfect show. So why is it never discussed? Where is it in the discussion of the best Disney shows when it fits so well next to other heavy hitters? I have 3 guesses why. For one, Mickey. Most Disney fans do not like Mickey Mouse. Because, well, the show's usually treated poorly by Disney. Mickey is seen less as a character and more of a mouthpiece for Disney, usually credited to be greedy and evil. So it makes sense that people would want to steer clear of someone featuring characters in that universe. For 2, is it because the cast is mostly animals? Think about it. The most popular parts of those other Disney shows are almost always the human characters. Look at the Owl House and Amphibia and Molly McGee fandoms. They tend to downplay or even ignore the more magical parts of the series to focus more on the human characters. Why do you think Coffee Shop AUs and Real World AUs are so popular? You really can't downplay the non-human stuff when literally every character is a duck. Throw a Ducktales character next to other shows, they very much stand out. Also, if you're one of the people who really only care about shipping, good luck caring about a show 90% of the cast is related. Unless you're a Loud House fan. Then there's the final thing. That being marketing. Now, Ducktales is pretty unique among the shows in the last decade, in that it was marketed. Pretty well, actually. They made a ton of commercials for it, there were toys, interviews with the cast, covers of the theme, a theme park attraction, and just the show itself makes it clear with much higher animation budget and full cast of celebrities. The thing is, who is this for? Nostalgic fans? Let's be real. Most fans of the original aren't going to check this out. Change is bad. They're good at cartoons, etc., etc. Also, I think Disney overestimated how popular DuckTales is. A few of the characters are iconic, but just in the you recognize them sense. Not that you know anything deeper about them. The show's only really well known for their theme song, which isn't enough to carry interest. It's sad but it's unlikely they were going to get as big of an audience as they wanted. But I don't care. It's a phenomenal show. One of the best in recent memory. Maybe even the best reboot. We'll take a look at another show like Arrival of It soon enough. And it's definitely something you should dive into. Like the Money Vault, it's referenced.
Well, guess I have no reason to be rich anymore.
I used to be huge.
Dewey, the Darkwing Duck video is still running. Do you want me to pause it until you get back?